Global warming is such a hot topic, I think we're just going to hop right onto it. And I hear that women are suddenly being drawn to hockey. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping by. Two Hands and a Foot. We won't tell you who's who. Before we get started, as per usual, go ahead and click that like button, click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't ever miss an episode. And the most important thing you can do for me is share this with all of your friends across your platforms. Let's get into it. So global warming, we hear the phrase global warming. Well, what is it? In a word, global warming is summer. Now, what happens is the Earth isn't just straight up and down, spinning in a circle, where we have the North Pole on top, the South Pole on the bottom, and a straight line vertical, a straight vertical line from top to bottom. That's not how the Earth sits, so to speak. It floats in space, but it's not how it rests or sits or however you want to call it in space. It's actually on a tilt. And it's a 23-degree angle. So if you just turn the vertical to 23 degrees, that's how far the slant is to the north and south poles of this great planet. Now, what happens is that the Earth isn't stationary while it's sitting in space. It happens to take a traveling route around the sun. But as it does so, one of the things it also does is it tilts on its axis. So that's why during certain parts of the year, we see the sun going a little higher in the sky on the horizon as it goes over, and then it goes to the lower parts of the horizon. We see that because the Earth does one of these thingies. So what happens is that the part of the Earth, the hemisphere, the northern or the southern hemisphere, whichever one is closer to the sun, is warmer during that time of the year versus the other half. And it just so happens that the northern hemisphere is right now beginning to be farther away from the sun than the southern hemisphere. So the southern hemisphere is now experiencing global warming. So, we have here where I am at right now, currently, we have a blizzard, so to speak, kind of conditions going on. We have high winds, very, very low wind chills on our weather for the last couple of days. Several inches of snow has come and blown into snow drifts. And the temperatures on top of that are in the negatives for highs. So, recorded a couple hours earlier today, the outside conditions from outside of my window. So, as you can see, not very warm. All over the nation, it's not just here where I'm at, but all over the nation, they're experiencing colder temperatures. I was messaging a buddy this morning who lives in Texas, and some of the snow down there is, they had to make adjustments, because of the snow, but it's nothing like what's happening in South Dakota or Montana and those places. But even southern states like, Texas and, Mississippi, Alabama are experiencing cooler temperatures as it is winter time. And the thing about that is that these things happen in cycles. So there are times where we go through a number of years where we have mild winters. And there are times where we go through some years where we have very harsh winters. And there are times where we go through in years where we have very mild summers. And there are times we go through some years where we have very hot summers. So I'm pretty sure we have the same number of icebergs that were around when Al Gore predicted 40 years ago that, by golly, we're going to have global warming crisis. We have the same number of polar bears, if not more. We're not in the middle of a crisis. It's just weather. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's a problem. And right now, let's list some of the things that are going on. As of now, unfortunately, the worst part of it is that 4 have been killed so far in sub-zero temperatures. The northern Rockies, are getting some. South Dakota and Montana. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana are experiencing 50 degrees below zero with their wind chills and stuff. Negative 17 degrees. 700 flights have been canceled so far. Arkansas has declared state of emergency ahead of the severe weather, so they can get stuff going a little easier instead of in the middle of emergencies. In Oregon, 120,000 homes and businesses were without electricity, most of them in the Portland area, due to the high winds and a mix of snow and ice, bringing down trees and power lines. We have severe weather affecting the political atmosphere. The Iowa caucuses are going on today, and so they're affected by the sub-zero temperatures. One of the AFC wildcard games took place yesterday was affected. They were playing in negative degrees. The Buffalo Bill game up in New York between them and the Steelers is affected by snow. So we get all of this stuff, and we want to say global warming, but we don't understand the whole mix of things. That's why we laugh at people who claim global warming is a crisis. That if you miraculously stop cows from farting, you're gonna change the weather. I get it. We want to take care of our planet. I'm not against taking care of our planet. I am against lack of common sense. And so when we start to sit there and critique things that we think affect things and don't see the whole picture, I'm sorry, your electric vehicle isn't working in this weather. It's not. Your diesel vehicle is working. Your gasoline-powered vehicle has majority of it electric parts. Maybe not. It's a hit or miss. But we have to be cautious about finding those things and saying those things and causing alarm when there really is no need for it. You just got to have some common sense in you. Trump. That's the name we're hearing. Again, today is the Iowa caucus. But I don't want to talk about Iowa caucuses right now. That'll take place, and it'll be what it is. I want to say something about how you treat people in this kind of an environment. If any of you have heard the news, President Trump on his Truth Social site the other day posted this, and I quote, "Vivek started his campaign as a great supporter, the best president in generations, etc. Unfortunately, now all he does is disguise his support in the form of deceitful campaign tricks. Very sly, but a vote for Vivek is a vote for the other side. Don't get duped by this. Vote for Trump. Don't waste your vote. Vivek is not MAGA. The Biden indictments against his political opponent will never be allowed in the country. They are already beginning to fall MAGA." He said this in response to a picture that Vivek Ramaswamy is in, having been in Iowa, and with a group of people who had shirts on that had a picture of Iowa, or the outline of Iowa, the picture of Trump, and I guess the phrase was something along the lines of, if you vote for Vivek, you save Trump. Whether or not that was a funny shirt, a good shirt, what have you, out of all of the other people running in the Republican side of things, Vivek has not bashed Trump. He has mentioned a couple of things that he doesn't agree with, but he has always supported Trump. And I'm not saying you should or should not support Trump. I'm just giving you what the story is right now. And so for President Trump to come out and be this harsh against Vivek, I think is uncalled for. I think that's one of the things that rubs people the wrong way about him, about President Trump, is the fact that he'll do this stuff. Look at the whole of Vivek Ramaswamy, and you will not find him being anti-Trump in any sense of the phrase. And so I think it's a little uncalled for President Trump to come out and say he's not MAGA, which, okay, he's not MAGA. The MAGA was a phrase invented by Donald Trump. I get it. So therefore, in that sense, no one is except for President Trump. But don't bash everybody who doesn't 100% agree with you on everything. Otherwise, you're going to alienate yourself. And, oh, I don't care is the phrase, because he's got his family, he's got his small group of friends, and he doesn't need anybody else. But here's the deal. I get what he's trying to do for the country, but here's the deal. There's going to be something that comes after he's gone. Even if he wins this election in 2024, that's only 4 more years. It's only 4 more years. And even if he wanted to do all the stuff that he said he wanted to do in his first term, and anything he wanted to do in the second term, and he got all that done in those 4 years, it still wouldn't be enough to right the ship. So we're going to need somebody or something to continue that, and alienating someone like Vivek Ramaswamy is not the best of ideas. Now, I didn't hear the full response from Ramaswamy, but here's I did hear the part where he was like, I have supported Trump, and he's willing to pardon Trump, so to speak, from all of the criminal indictments against him. So I do like Vivek Ramaswamy, and honestly, Vivek, if you ever get a chance to watch this, if anybody that watches this channel knows how to get a hold of Vivek, by all means, sir, I would love to interview you. I would love to get on and talk with you face to face. If we can't make that happen face to face, I would love to just interview you through the computer if we can. But hey, I'd love to shake your hand and meet you. President Trump, it's a long shot. I would love to sit down and talk with you as well, sir. Long shot. But if that happens, I'd be ecstatic. Either one of you. But because of the fact that it's okay to disagree with people, I still support President Trump and what he is calling for the majority of it, even though I don't like the fact that he does stuff like this, where he sits there and he just dumps somebody because, I don't know, feelings are hurt. I get it. Feelings are hurt. But I still support Trump. So that's an example of me being able to sit there and say, I don't agree with everything that President Trump does, but I still support him as a person and the overarching goal that he has is to make America great again, for lack of a better phrase. But I support that. Same thing with Vivek Ramaswamy. There's a lot of things that I agree with that he says. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss with him to get a better understanding of what he believes and what he thinks and what he feels about things. I would love to have that opportunity to sit down there and talk with him about that. Because I do like what he has to say. A lot of what he has to say makes a lot of sense. And so, just because I don't agree with a lot of what he says now, or some of what he says now, doesn't mean that I don't support Ramaswamy and what he has to say. So this idea of it's all me or nothing, I think it needs to be laid aside a little bit. I love the bulldogness of what Donald Trump is doing. I do. But like anything else, there needs to be a little bit more restraint in how we say things. So that's what I have on that. I think it would be cool if we get them two in a room talking to each other. I would love to talk to one or both of them, or either of them, either or both. What have you had? Either or both, whatever. I'd love to do that. Long shot, but hey, let's go for it. And let's see if we can get this worked out. Because there's a standard that needs to be set and pushed, and then there needs to be an agenda to follow, and then there needs to be something behind it that keeps the momentum going. And I like where that could lead. I didn't know hockey was so popular. And then apparently women are flocking to hockey. Oh, wait. That's the wrong Stanley Cup. Dadgummit. What is it with these crazes? Stanley Cup. I heard this for the first time, I don't know, about a week ago. And of course, the first thing I think of is hockey. Women are now starting to flock to the Stanley Cup, and I'm like, women are liking hockey? Okay, but it's talking about a mug, a tumbler, a drinking container. Nothing too special about it. It's a tumbler. I have tons of tumblers. For example, one of them recognizing a Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win. Always liking that. Another one, my favorite baseball team. It's clear plastic, I can see. Awesome. Good job. Way to go. Then I have another one, which you may have seen in videos, but I use this for my coffee every morning. It's a tumbler from the Daily Wire. I have the link in the description if you want to buy one. Stop by there. This thing keeps the drinks really warm for a long time, like 2 hours. My coffee is nice and steaming hot for those 2 hours. In this, still, I've had this for over a year and a half now, and it still keeps my drinks steaming hot for a couple hours at least while I'm working. So tumblers. So then I got the thought into thinking, well, let's see here. Which Stanley Cup deserves the racket? Because I could be partial. I'm into sports, and I could just say sports there, cut it done and over with. Or you ladies could say, oh, you're just being biased because you're a sports lover. We got to talk about drinkware, and we're, half the population, what have you. Let's look at the details. So, the Stanley Bottling Company was invented, or the Stanley vacuum flask, or the tumbler, was invented in the year 1913. It was founded there in Massachusetts. Just saying, 1913. The Stanley Cup for hockey was first awarded in the year 1893. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. So, I think we can put that argument to rest. The most important Stanley Cup is the one for hockey in the National Hockey League. Now, don't get me wrong. I had to go and look at the website for Stanley and into the drinkware, and they're decent looking, drink containers. They got little handles on their tumblers, and they got some thermoses, and flasks and stuff you can put your soup in, and all sorts of fun stuff. And they've got some different patterns and such, and lids, and how you can open and close the drinking mechanisms and all that stuff. But here's the deal: nothing really compares to winning that final game of the Stanley Cup Finals, and hoisting the trophy over your head. You see it all the time of the hockey players who are hoisting the trophy over their heads. There you go. the rewards of victory. Stanley Cup versus Stanley Cup. And I think we have a winner. All right, that's what I have for you today. I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, evening, nighttime, midnight snack, morning, or whatever you are having, as long as it's good. You can follow me on all sorts of platforms now. I am still on X. I am on Rumble. I'm on Patreon. And yes, I'm on Instagram as well. Again, share this with all of your friends. Let's get this going huge. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.